Everyone in the world is talking about the viral zucchini bread that's trending right now. So I was like, you know what, we need to try that. So today we're gonna make a keto version of the currently viral zucchini bread and see how it comes out. And what we're gonna need to start off with, and this is gonna shock you, is zucchini. Now I'm not sure, oh, my oven is making a clicking noise. That's annoying me. I don't know how to make it not do that though. That worked. Do you still hear it? Oh, it's still there, but it's not as bad. We'll let, what do they say? We'll let sleeping dogs lie. If it gets bad again, I'll hit it again. So I got some zucchini that I just washed. I guess I'll cut off this little end so I don't get that little, I don't know what that thing is. See, I hear it again. Should I turn it off? I could turn it off. Well, that did it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to literally just grate up some zucchini. I don't know if I should use the small side of the grater. Probably smaller than that, right? Let's try this. We're going for it. We're doing the small side. Hopefully it's working. We'll pull this away in a minute and see if it looks like we have grated zucchini or just like a mush. Yeah, it looks like grated zucchini. We need a cup of it. So you wanna take a zucchini. I did wash this. Wash it up and dry it and then grate it. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we need a cup of zucchini. So we're just gonna, oh, that's 2/3 of a cup. We're just gonna measure it out and make sure we have about a cup's worth. Wow, it's so wet, oh my goodness. I almost feel like we need a little more. Luckily I have another zucchini. So I'm gonna grate a little bit more. The problem is we're supposed to dry this. This is supposed to be dried out. I feel like it's gonna take a long time to dry it, but anyways, there's our 1 cup of sopping wet zucchini. I'm gonna put it on a paper towel to dry it. It says to salt it lightly. All right, so let me just like spread it out a little, like so. Can you see that? I'm spreading it out a little. I'm gonna take some salt and just lightly salt it like this. I almost feel like maybe the thicker texture would have been easier to work with. This super finely grated is pretty small. And we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes, then we're gonna strain it. So I'll set that aside. We have something we can work on while we do that. I've got this is some weird cheesecloth. Why does this look like a bandage? That is odd. That's way thicker than the cheesecloth I normally use. And I've gotta like cut it or something. I don't really have scissors, so I'm just gonna use a knife and try not to cut my hand off. Oh, see, this is terrible. Oh man, I don't know. I can't find scissors. I'll tell you what, like, just the fact that I get videos out on a semi-regular basis is a bit of a miracle. Because I feel like it's in my nature to fail at even doing this video, but I'm trying my best. So we're gonna take some cottage cheese, put it into a cheesecloth while we wait for that to dry. This is, again, the weirdest cheesecloth I've ever seen. We're then gonna see if we can successfully squeeze out the liquid. We're gonna try, this can make my hands real dirty, to squeeze out any liquid from this cottage cheese. Here we go. Is it coming out? Yeah, it's coming out. And I know I didn't measure the cottage cheese because I don't really care about the measurement right now. I care about it after it's strained, and straining it changes the measurement quite a bit. See, look, the big chunks are coming out too. This cheesecloth's too thick. What in the world? Did I get anything? Well, I got some. Let's see if I got enough. What a mess. Yeah, I only need a 1/3 cup, so I think we probably have enough here. Let me measure it out. Look how crappy this cottage cheese is. It's because they were sold out of the like Daisy or whatever. And so I had to get the cheap stuff. And I am a firm believer when it comes to cottage cheese, you get what you pay for. So yeah, I keep reading about zucchini bread and how much people love it. So we're gonna see if it's all as cracked up to be, although some would say the test isn't fair since I'm making it keto. I'm keto-fying it. So we've got our, look at this, look how small the curds are. When you get like the Daisy, it's like the big balls of cottage cheese. This is interesting. It's kind of irrelevant though, because we're going to blend it up with our little ninja chopper. Man, I tried. All right, time for a pizza interruption. Isn't that the best kind of eruption? Oh boy, isn't that the best kind of interruption? A pizza interruption? That's what we're doing here today. Really quick, guys, I wanted to tell you about my new toy I got from Bighorn Outdoor. They're the ones who make that really awesome steak grill that I always talk about because I absolutely love it. Well, they told me about their indoor pizza oven. They also have an outdoor one, but I wanted to try out the indoor one. So this is literally a pizza oven you can keep in your house and cook up some amazing pizzas at super high temperatures. This has temperature controls from 220 to 850 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. And it's got a bunch of preset modes. I can show you what I mean. So it's got all these modes. You can do manual, wood fried, and it'll do 750 for 3 minutes. Wood fired, not fried. Frozen, which is 450, do a frozen pizza in there. You can do New York, thin and crispy, deep dish, and it just kind of has all these different custom settings based on what you choose. You can cook other stuff in this too. You can throw wings in it, pretty much anything you want to cook at super high heat, basically. All right, so this time I'm gonna put some cornmeal down so that this thing actually slides off when I'm ready to. You know, you could also use this to make a steak, actually. I'm thinking 800 degrees, you get pretty decent sear on your steak. And sometimes people can't have a grill, like an outdoor grill. Maybe they live in an apartment complex or something. So it's a nice compromise to get you cooking inside. And I've got about 5 minutes left on my preheat. So I'm gonna put this onto my pizza peel. Wish me luck here. Ooh, it looks like I sized it pretty well. Then we're gonna add some sauce. And I'm just using the Rouse sauce. We're just gonna spread that over the pizza pie. Now, obviously you could totally use this with a keto dough, and this is Rouse, the keto sauce. You could also use cheese, which is already keto. So if you have a keto dough, that would be a great option as well. And sometimes it's good to keep it basic. There's some cheese. All right, so we're gonna put our pizza into the oven that is preheated and slide it on. Hopefully it comes off the pizza peel, yeah, without issue. And I'm just gonna leave it in there for like 6 minutes. You can set this timer thingy. The timer doesn't actually dictate how long it stays hot. It's just to help you know when it's done. It's just a timer for that purpose. So let's come back in 6-7 minutes and see what we got as far as an amazing pizza. Now, if you want to try this pizza oven, get it yourself. I'm going to put a link down below with a coupon code. I know they got a lot of deals coming up for the holidays, including a Prime Day deal, things like that. Black Friday's coming up, all these things. If you know someone who wants an awesome pizza oven, Bighorn has indoor and outdoor ones, so definitely check the link down below and use the coupon code to save. All right, so it's been about 6 minutes. Let's take a look at this pizza, see how she's cooking. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Ah, yeah, that's kind of perfect, guys. That is kind of perfect. In 6 minutes, we've got a perfect pizza. Can I just put it on the table? Sure, why not? It's my table. I do what I want. Look at that. That's a beautiful pizza. Let's open it up. Let's crack into it. You hear that crust? Oh my gosh. That sounds so good. Ooh, it's hot. It is so hot, but also so good looking. You see that thing? This just cooked me a perfect pizza in 6 minutes. That's pretty incredible. Just rolled the dough, put it in there. I did a custom setting. You can do all the presets if you want to. I wanted to make sure the bottom got cooked enough, so I set the bottom to max temp, the top to like 600, and I put it in there for 6 minutes and got this, which just looks stinking perfect. Look at that. All right, so I'll let this cool for a minute. I'm gonna give it a try. It's perfect, guys. This is pretty incredible. Be awesome to add to your collection of kitchen tools. Every now and then a video does so horrible, and I had one do just so badly that I released yesterday. It was cottage, it wasn't even cottage cheese based. Maybe that's why it did bad. I know you guys like cottage cheese. Let me blend this up and then I'll tell you. All right, that's pretty well blentified, not great. We'll call that good enough. And in hindsight, the idea just wasn't that good. It was keto pumpkin spice hot honey wings. They were actually crazy delicious and like shockingly good. I did not expect them to be good, but they were like beyond good to great even. But the video did terrible. So I don't think people were craving a pumpkin spice wing. I have a friend who grew up in Buffalo and he yelled at me. He sent me a very angry text. How dare you besmirch the name of wings by putting pumpkin spice on them? Check that video out if you want. It was pretty good. They were keto, they were delicious. So it's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna see if I can't use this cheesecloth again, but this time to strain out the zucchini, because we want that dried out too. Hopefully the cheesecloth does a good enough job of it. All right, here we go. We're gonna squeeze it. Oh wow, there's so much liquid in this. All right, let's do the same thing. So cheesecloth you can get at Walmart or Amazon. I definitely like the stuff I got on Amazon better than this. This was Walmart, but you know, I was needing it immediately and Amazon was gonna take 2 days. So I went with Walmart. Gotta use your forearm strength here. So we should have fairly dry, not crazy dry, but fairly dry zucchini now. It's definitely drier. So honestly, I mean, I feel like I'm doing a science experiment. I need to remeasure this because this doesn't feel like a cup anymore. Yeah, it's definitely not. So I need to do that same process again because we need 1 cup after squeezing it dry. So I'm gonna need to grate more zucchini. So grate like 2 to 3 cups of zucchini as your starter and then strain it and you should have a cup when you're done. That's the goal. And as is typical for me, that zucchini that I kind of half used, I already threw it out in the trash, but luckily I had bought some extra ones so I can wash these ones and do it. This is how much liquid we got out of the zucchini, but we did end up with about a cup of it. It still feels like a little wet. I don't know how to get it drier. I've done the best I can. Look at this mess I've made. To test it, we should squeeze it with our hands, and if anything, maybe a drop or 2 of water comes out, which is what happened. So we're pretty satisfied with that. All right, so now we're gonna mix our dry ingredients. We're gonna start off with 1.5 cups of almond flour. Now I wanna know, guys, in the comments, have you tried, I just broke my cup measurer. Look at that. Oh, me Tupperware. Is it Tupperware? No, it's Foley, made in the USA, but seen its last day. Okay, so that's 1.5 cups of almond flour is what we're gonna use. I actually lied, we're supposed to use 1 1/3 cups. How do I fix that? I'm not doing well today, guys. We're gonna use 1 cup, so I'm gonna do my 1/2 cup twice, and then we'll use our 1/3 cup, like that. Yeah, that's a significant amount we didn't need. Then 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. 1 and, I should be more careful since I'm baking. I need to measure accurate. Slow down, Dave, I'm making mistakes. We need 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk fiber. Do you have to do that? You have to tell yourself to slow down. We're then gonna take a teaspoon of our baking powder and add that. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You know, I wish everything had a measurer, like the baking powder. Oops. Because you can like use it to level it off. So we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna take 1 teaspoon of cinnamon as well and add that in. I'm just gonna use my little whisk to kind of combine all these ingredients and maybe stamp out some of these chunks in my flour. We don't have those or fail at it. I will say I'm not like the target audience for a zucchini bread. It's not something I would run to. And definitely not if I'm doing keto, but I think this is gonna be good. It already smells really good with that cinnamon and stuff. I'm gonna set that bowl aside, then we're gonna do our wet ingredients. And in our wet ingredients, we're gonna use 3/4 cups of confectioner's sweetener. This is Swerve is what I'm using. And yes, this is a keto sweetener. It is made with, I think, erythritol. Yeah, erythritol, tapioca starch, and natural flavor. How am I gonna do this without spilling it everywhere? Where's a plate? We need 3/4 cups of it, so I'm just gonna pour it into my measuring cup. Use the plate to catch the overflow. Put it in there. And we're gonna add into our sweetener 3 eggs. I guess I probably should have done the eggs first. That would have made more sense, but whatever. Uno, dos. Oh, the egg is all over me. And trace. I'm so organized. And we're gonna just whisk these together, the sugar and the eggs, until it's fluffy. Is that what it said? Fluffy? And I'm using a whisk this time instead of a fork. People say they don't like me when I use a fork because it makes like a lot of noise. But a fork is metal and the whisk is metal, but I also kind of agree. The whisk isn't making the annoying noise, so I'm not really sure how the science works there. But I think we could call in Bill Nye, the science guy, and maybe he could tell us. We're gonna wanna add to this 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter that's cooled slightly. That was not a good strategy at all. Dang it. So just burned my hand a little bit. I tried to do the stick of butter on a paper plate. Why? I don't know. But then when I tried to move it, it spilled all over the microwave in my hand. So I'm not sure how much butter I lost in that process, so I'm just gonna do another whole 1/2 cup. I'll tell you what, there's days I come out here to cook and I just feel like I'm good at cooking, I'm kicking butt. And there's days like today where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a mess. And if this works out, we're gonna be super lucky. And you know what? Sometimes it does, sometimes, oh wow, look, I'm really slimy because of the butter. I think I ought to go wash my hands. Remember that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer puts butter all over himself as suntan lotion and he gets all tan? And then Newman wants to eat him because he keeps imagining he's like a chicken. All right, I'm gonna let that cool for a minute. We're gonna add our heavy cream. It is going to be 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. 1 and 2. I know if you're new here, you're like, why do people watch this guy? Listen, sometimes we end up with great recipes that like you're gonna wanna remake over and over again. And I will say, if I can cook it, you definitely can cook it. There's no doubt in my mind that anyone can cook anything I cook. All right, so what we're doing here is we're putting the cottage cheese that we strained and blend up earlier into the bowl with the eggs and the cream. Here we go. Just mix that up. We then need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oops, that's a brand new one. You know, normally when I'm making a recipe, I'm like, you know, that makes me think of this anecdote. But when I'm cooking zucchini bread, I have no anecdote. I've never had zucchini bread. I've had banana bread. I think we made banana bread on here and it ended up tasting like popcorn. That was an interesting one. Okay, let's mix this up like so. Now we can add our butter. And this is basically a stick of unsalted butter. Mix that up with the rest of the wet ingredients. We want to fold the wet in with the dry. You fold with a whisk. I don't feel like you fold with a whisk. I feel like I'm supposed to use like a spatula. Where's that spatula I had? Like that, right? Isn't that how you, oh gosh, I'm spilling it out. I'm just gonna pour it all in there. That was a foregone conclusion when we're talking about Dave. So we'll just fold it in like that. That works. Made a little bit of a mess. Now after we fold that in, you have options. You're gonna add the zucchini. Let me get the rest of this. But you can also add pecans or walnuts if you want to, which I'm tempted to because I do like me some pecans. One of my favorites. I like walnuts too, but I feel like in bread, pecans are so tasty. But my wife doesn't like pecans. I don't know if my wife will eat this anyways. It's tricky. These are the challenges we go through while we're cooking. I like the texture. Honestly, the texture looks pretty solid here. I'm a fan of this. Now we're gonna add our full cup of zucchini. Oh my gosh. Why am I ruining this beautiful dough with zucchini? I don't know though. It's trending. It must be good. It is trending. I think I'm gonna skip the nuts. You can add nuts though. You would add a 1/4 cup of chopped pecans or walnuts. I'm gonna skip them because you know, I'm also watching my calories, not just my carbs. And nuts are so caloric. I feel like I'm better off just skipping the nuts. So we're supposed to use a baking pan. That seems like a very small loaf pan. It was $3. That actually is kind of funny. It was $3 at Walmart and I was like, man, that seems real cheap for a loaf pan. Now I understand why. It's tiny. I wonder if I have a bigger one. All right, so we're gonna try this small pan because I just hunted and I can't find a bigger one. So we're gonna take parchment paper and try to kind of crumple it up a little bit, put it into this pan, and then we will take our dough and add it like so. Yeah, that rhymed. That looks pretty good. Can you see it? We're then just going to kind of flatten it. Problem I have with using parchment paper, I really don't like doing it, is it makes the end product a little uglier because it's like got the crumpled parchment paper under it. But I think if we don't use parchment paper, it's just gonna get stuck. So we're gonna do it. This is gonna go into the oven, 35 minutes, then we're gonna tent it with foil for 25, and then we'll be back in an hour, or you can just go the hour without tenting it. If it starts to get too dark though, you're gonna wanna tent it with foil. 325 degrees for an hour. All right, so just really quick, I took this out at 35 minutes I tented it with foil. Then after an hour I took it out. Now it's been sitting in the pan for about a half hour. I'm now gonna set it just on my counter like this, or on a rack if you have one, to let it cool a little bit more. What I've learned with all my years of cooking experience with cottage cheese is that this cooling time, this resting time is very important. Otherwise it can be like spongy inside. So we really need to let it fully cool, like half hour to an hour before we cut into this. So we'll be back once this is fully room temperature and we'll see how it tastes. All right, guys, so we are done with this bread. Should I get a cutting board? This isn't really a cutting board. Oh, listen, we're not fancy. It has been sitting for another 40 minutes. I'm impatient. I want to try it. So we have made keto zucchini bread with cottage cheese, and let's just cut into it and see. It cuts good. It cuts real nice, Clark. Look at this. This is our keto zucchini bread. I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I've never had zucchini bread, but it is a staple. A lot of people love zucchini bread. Look at that, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. All right, let me try it, and I will let you guys know if it's the world's best, although I can't really judge that. It reminds me a lot of banana bread, actually. Interesting, but doesn't taste like banana, but like texture and consistency wise and all that. Doesn't really taste like zucchini. It tastes more like cinnamon. So I looked it up, I said, why is zucchini bread popular? And supposedly a big part of it is because like it helps you get rid of your extra zucchini at the end of the season. But yeah, this is just tasty. This is just a really good bread. Homemade zucchini bread, keto style with cottage cheese. I would say if you like zucchini bread and you can't have it anymore because you're on keto, give this a shot. You might be really pleasantly surprised. Guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.